Well, I interviewed for the job at BYU, and I was 1 year removed from my high school job. So here I'm interviewing for the quarterback job at was arguably one of the finest universities producing quarterbacks in the country. And one of the guys they had me talk to was Steve as part of the interview. So he contends he got me the job to this day. I don't think that happened, but I talked to Steve that next year. And he would tell you this too. When he came into school, like I remember, there have been 7 or 8 quarterbacks, and some really good ones. McMahon was there still, but now he was going to be the quarterback. I remember him sitting in my office, and he has a chance. He's probably going to be the #1 pick of the NFL, but he has a chance to go in the USFL at the time. And he's going, "What should I do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know much about the new league. You got a chance to be the #1 pick in the draft." But they offered him this great deal, and he went to the USFL. Oh, no, we had our moments now. During games, he'd do something crazy, and I'd call timeout one time, I remember, and I wasn't supposed to call timeout. I'm on the field, and the head coach was the only one calling timeouts. I was so angry with him, and I said, "Come over here," and he wouldn't come. He'd stop 15 yards from me, and then the head coach came down and said, "Who called the timeout?" I said, "I did. I got to talk to him right now." And he goes, "Steve," Lavelle Evers calls Steve. Steve says, "I'm not coming over there until he calms down." And so we're in this crazy conversation that no one would ever understand in a game. But we had a great relationship, and he was willing to work very, very hard to improve on his weaknesses and get better. And that's what happened. It wasn't easy. That was one of the great balancing acts of my lifetime. Because here you had Joe Montana, arguably the greatest quarterback ever, and then we traded and got Steve. I remember Coach Walsh asking me, "How is he? Should we do this?" And Bill had probably already made up his mind, but he involved me in that. And I said, "He's a great player." So Steve came in, and he was clearly, it was Joe's team, and Steve had to learn and be the heir apparent, so to speak. But it created a certain friction there that at one point it prevented the team from playing the way they could play. And the Coach Walsh, they both played a little bit, and Steve, he tried to get Steve involved and take some reps in practice and things like that, which normally you don't do. The first quarterback gets the other guy has to learn and be ready. And if Steve didn't feel he had enough reps, and he'd come into my office going, "You're not coaching me, I'm not getting enough reps," and then Joe would come in. So I'm trying to balance the thing a little bit there. What was most striking about Steve to me was here was a guy who could play the position, a very, very outstanding passer, a great runner as a quarterback. And in his early years, if he got into trouble, he could always get out of it with his legs. Really, he could make something happen out of nothing with his legs. Most quarterbacks can't do that. And so your offense is kind of determined by different things. Your ability to get out of trouble throwing it, dumping it off, quick. That's what you see most quarterbacks do. They don't run.